how's it going? Clint and T here. T, what movie did we go see last night?
Jurassic World.
Uh-huh. How'd you like it? Yeah, see, I liked it, though.
I didn't dislike it,
Okay.
but I went in really optimistic wanting to love it, because who doesn't love Jurassic Park?
Right.
The first one. When I say Jurassic Park, I mean literally the movie Jurassic Park,
Not the actual park in Costa Rica.
or the franchise as a whole, for that matter.
Sure.
But just the quick hits of the things that I didn't think really worked. Number one, I think there were way too many moments where they were reminding us of the other movies. They're like, hey, remember this part in Jurassic Park? Remember how you like this part in Jurassic Park? Remember this part from Jurassic Park? That was so cool. And it was literally just rehashing those moments. It almost bordered on feeling like a remake at many times.
Well, that was the first thing that I said when I left the theater, was like, it was more of a remake than it was a sequel. Thematically, the character archetypes that they were using, all of it was, like every remake, sort of a diet version of the movie that they're remaking. And in a lot of ways, that's what got me excited about the movie, because when the first trailer came out, even the composition of the shots and everything was very like, hey, you guys remember Jurassic Park and how majestic that was way back in the day when you went to see it when you were like 9 or whatever? The function of the movie was to tug at your old Jurassic Park heartstrings.
There was a lot of skepticism around this movie leading up to its release, because obviously it's a huge property. People hold up Jurassic Park very dearly in their hearts. I mean, who doesn't love Jurassic Park? But I think a lot of people were skeptical of the whole Chris Prat, riding on a motorcycle and a raptor gang thing. I never really had a problem with that, because I was like, look, if they're going to do something new and innovative with the Jurassic Park franchise, like, I'm on board with that, as long as it's not like that same whackness they did with that new Dinosaur in the third one. As far as Chris Prat being a raptor trainer and all that, I think the way it's done in the movie doesn't even seem that stupid or crazy. I think it's very believable. After all, if Mike Tyson can sleep with a tiger, maybe Chris Pratt can train some raptors in a movie.
Well, and you buy it, because the park is a zoo.
Yeah.
The park is a zoo. So Chris Pratt is a raptor trainer as much as Siegfried and Roy were tiger trainers.
Right.
I mean,
and it worked out perfectly for them.
Right? Right?
Honestly, this movie felt so much like they just cherry-picked bits and bobs from the 3 previous movies and just did a supercut. Like, this is the one Jurassic Park movie to rule them all, that is still not greater than the sum of its parts.
To the point where it actually felt a little meta. And that was one of my other issues with the movie, is that it felt like Colin Trevarrow was trying to make a comedy. And it kept getting noted and pulled back in the other direction.
Yeah, there are some genuinely funny moments in there, too.
And bizarrely funny, too. Like, really quirky humor. Jake Johnson is hilarious. Lauren Lapkus is in there as well, and she's very funny. The whole cast is full of funny people.
Yeah.
And you could tell that there were moments that he was like, I got to put Jake Johnson in this movie because of this moment, and this moment. But meanwhile, Jake Johnson also had to do these other 3 moments that were kind of serious.
Why are they making him do that?
Like, why are they making Jake Johnson do that? And so it felt like it wanted to be funny. It felt like it wanted to be tongue-in-cheek, and it wanted to be meta. And all of that feeds from the sense of, like, hey, we're really big fans of Jurassic Park. We know you are too. Remember how great that was. Here's this other movie we're redoing it. Because it really was, at the end of the day, it was a remake.
And it really felt like one of those movies where you get the distinct sense of the director and the studio butting heads. You feel sort of tension and sort of this mishmash of what the movie is meant to be happening while you're watching it. It's very similar to what we have in Jurassic Park, where it's essentially like a mom figure and a dad figure trying to rescue 2 kids who are, it's very similar. And I think one of the worst things about it was just the failure of imagination in doing anything interesting with these characters. It's one thing if you're going to have sort of the same chess pieces as before, but at least give them interesting personalities and not things that we've seen 100 million times before. I mean, when you say it's a remake, it's like a remake of all movies ever.
The one thing that I will say that to give it credit, as a remake, and which is officially what I'm calling it at least attempted to update itself thematically. Like, the first Jurassic Park movie was great science fiction, right? It was just perfect science fiction. The characters were there, and they were simple, and they served the theme of the movie, and everything was pulling in the same direction, and it was great sci-fi. This is just a big movie.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s, when Jurassic Park first came out, it was all like, what can we do with science, and how far should we go with it? And then now, that's not quite as impressive to us now, like, because everybody's got an iPhone and no one really cares that much.
Right.
And that's what this movie's about.
Yeah, it plays into that.
yeah.
It's that sort of very cavalier attitude about seeing real-life dinosaurs at this point because the park's been around over 20 years.
And what's funny is the corporate mandate that they deal with in the movie. It's like, we need it to be bigger and scarier with more teeth.
Which
the corporate
sounds like
mandate from Universal to make Jurassic World is bigger and scarier and more teeth. So it's either ironically a failing in the movie that was one of the corporate mandates, or it's actually a decently smart commentary on movies in general right now. Which, the fact that a lot of the movie felt kind of meta, I'm inclined to believe that it is kind of meta. Looking at it through that lens, it's not the smartest satire that there ever was, and it's very unfocused in that regard, but there are bits and pieces of that in there.
They had some pretty good casting here. Everyone loves Chris Prat, Bryce Dallas Howard, Vincent D'Onofrio, and the two kids, I don't know their names.
Everybody was good.
Everyone was fine. I think they did the best with what they were given, but all of those characters were written without any imagination whatsoever. Yet Chris Pratt still manages to come out smelling fresh as a daisy, I think. For whatever reason, I think this will not sully his reputation, and he's still completely fine and golden right now.
I don't know that this movie is going to sully anybody's reputation. I don't think it was that bad.
It's not bad enough for that.
It's not bad enough for that. I will say, though, other highlights of the movies, in the trailer you see that all the pterodactyls escape, and they're plucking people up left and right. During that sequence, I couldn't stop going, like, it went to a weird, pulpy, kind of bat crazy place.
It felt kind of like a Roger Corman movie or something almost.
Yeah, in a really good way.
Yeah.
I thought that was the highlight of the movie.
Like you said, there's a lot of really interesting thematic questions that they present. I just wish that they had spent less time servicing, reminding us of the old movies to actually delve into these new meaty bits that they had potential for here. So overall, I think even though we might have liked it on different levels, I think we would both recommend seeing it, right?
I absolutely would. I mean, there's no... It's one of these movies that if you're not going to see it on the big screen, don't worry about it. Because, it's dinosaurs. It's still dinosaurs. And that's the funny, again, the movie's about everybody being bored with dinosaurs, you know? And so it's interesting and meta in that sense, because everybody's like, Indominus Rex, that's stupid.
Right.
It's like, well, you know what? They know it's stupid, and there's a line in there about how it's stupid, and they make it, Anyway, point is, if you're not going to see it on a big screen, what do we even have movies for? Go to the movie theater and see it in the big screen.
It is still worth seeing this one despite the issues that I have with it, because it's still like a summer movie with dinosaurs in it and the dinosaurs fight and stuff. It's cool.
It's fun. There's enough funny moments. There are enough highlights in this movie to make it worth your 12, 15, depending on where you live in the country, dollars to go and see the movie.
But not worth seeing in 3D. I happened to see it in 3D, and Clint was slumming it next door in the 2D screening, and I wouldn't say that it's worth the extra money. I mean, unless you enjoy getting a headache.
Big screen, all you need. Don't need IMAX, don't need 3D.
No.
You do need a dark room with a bunch of strangers, though. All right, if you've seen it already, let us know what you thought about it in the comments down below, or how excited you may or may not be about the movie. Make sure to click like, subscribe, and stick around for more movie news on CineFix Now. Remember, royalty free.
That way we don't have to pay for it. See, you change one note and it's free.